a team you can trust. Big O Tires.
A man with an extensive criminal history whose latest arrest came after police received a report of an adult male soliciting a minor female for prostitution will soon have trial dates set for that case and has been sentenced in a separate district court case. Pearson was sentenced to 5 to 20 years in prison with 27 days credit for time served, $28 in fines and fees, and $1,060 for a psychosexual evaluation connected to a previous robbery case charge. Pearson, who is referred to as a habitual criminal, addressed the court and apologized for violating his guilty plea agreement. The court later proceeded with the defendant's scheduled arraignment in Pearson's latest case, in which he's charged with sex trafficking, soliciting a child for prostitution, open or gross lewdness, and habitual criminal. Pearson received these new alleged charges while already on bail during other district court proceedings. According to reports, the alleged juvenile victim, who's a family member of the suspect's friend, declined all offers of sex for money. Pearson pleaded not guilty in this case and waived his right to a speedy trial. Pearson's attorney says the trial, which has not been formally assigned court dates yet, should take about a week. The area man accused of becoming agitated and making random statements like referring to himself as Jesus Christ during a domestic battery confrontation with his mother and sister has been released from custody following a guilty plea agreement. During Edward Snook's pretrial hearing, pursuant to negotiations with Snook's companion case, in which he was charged with second-degree kidnapping, the defendant will plead guilty to 2 counts of domestic battery with minimum penalties and 1 count of resisting a police officer, with fines and fees suspended and jail sentences to all run consecutive and a 1-year stay out of trouble order. All other charges on this case and Snook's companion case will be dismissed or not pursued. The defendant was screened to his understanding and acceptance of the guilty plea negotiations, the consequences to a first, second, and third domestic battery conviction, and the rights he would be waiving by entering into said negotiations. The defendant said he understood and entered guilty pleas to counts 1, 2, and 3, domestic battery and resisting a public officer. The court then imposed sentencing for counts 1 and 2, fines and fees totaling $340 to run consecutive for each case, with credit for 4.5 days of jail time served, 2 days of jail time with credit for 2 days of jail served to run consecutive, 48 hours of community service with credit for 48 hours of jail time running consecutive, and 1.5 hours per week of domestic violence counseling for 6 months to run concurrent, and 90 days of jail time suspended with the conditions the defendant completes sentencing and stays out of trouble for 1 year to run consecutive. And for count 3, fines and fees totaling $640 with credit for 8.5 days of jail time served and 90 days of jail suspended with the conditions the defendant completes all terms of sentencing and stays out of trouble for 1 year consecutive with counts 1 and 2. Snook now has a status hearing July 6th for proof of enrollment in counseling, and he has a status hearing for completion May 3rd, 2018. This has been your court report. I'm Eunette Gentry for News 46.